To this direct hit of information. Urban Reign is one of the best beat 'em up games out there. It's one of the best ever, and I totally recommend you play that. This game is made by the same team who made Tekken and Soul Calibur. They even say that in the game's cover. And you can totally see that that is true because upon playing the game, you realize the developers, you can see them Ctrl-Cing and Ctrl-Ving many of the Tekken animations. And, well, that's just one of the factors that makes this game feel so great to play. And great to watch as well. So, um, I imagine they, optimized their time creating this game because many of the animations you see there are from Tekken. So you can see somebody who plays just like Jin Kazama and Lei, guys who fight like Brian Fury, and so on. And so you can easily recognize those moves if you ever played Tekken. And especially if you like Tekken, you'll likely appreciate all these animations in the game. And yeah, I already told you what I think about this game. It is amazing, and it's one of the best beat 'em up games. And if you're a fan of the genre, 2D side scroller beat 'em up games or 3D based beat 'em up games, this is a definite recommendation. Now let me talk a little more about why I love this game and why I recommend and why I'm making this video, because you don't make a video about a game you don't like. So I really like this game. Of course, just like any other game you really like, you really, enjoy, it's not without its annoyances. I've got my pet peeves, but let me save that for a little while later in the video. So let me talk gameplay. This game, it's from the PlayStation 2, and I recently replayed it because I have played this game when I was a kid, but I didn't quite beat it. Why, I don't know. Probably one of the reasons is because I didn't have the skills to beat the game, but now I do. I'm a seasoned gamer. And now I have recently replayed it, and it is just great. You can play this game whenever, and it will feel great. And you're watching some gameplay here, and it is one of those games that feels great to play and great to watch. Like I said, this is one of those. It's a game's game. Gameplay first, and all the rest second. So you play as Brad Hawk, a certified bad guy. Sorry, not a bad guy. He's a good guy, but he's a bad motherfucker. He takes no shit, and he's got the skills to back him up. And you'll be thrown into an arena, which is big enough to traverse. And you may fight one-on-one, or you can be surrounded by characters. And the game isn't, even though it is beat 'em up, it kind of plays like a fighting game, because you gotta lock onto your opponent to get the best of your gameplay, even though you can play freely. And you will lock on with R1, and you have your regular moves with the circle, and you can create a few other attacks, like a lower attack by pressing down on the analog stick to perform a sweeping move, or up for another move like a head kick, or choose either left or right for yet another move. And you have your grapples, and you have your special attacks, and you have even a few buffs, depending on the direction you input on your analog stick, plus the triangle and circle buttons. So as you can see, you've got a few options, and the game is not button mashy. It's a game about technique, and it's very fast-paced, so it's a game that may take some getting used to the rhythm, because it's a kind of a brutal game. As you can see, it's a very fast action-paced game. But like I said, it's not button mashy. We're not talking about Dynasty Warriors here. Another great game, but this is not button mashy. You can button mash, but this might not take you so far, depending on how far into the game you are or the kind of difficulty you're playing. So you gotta mix things up. Um, the game has a host of options. You have your combos, and you must also be mindful about your surroundings. You can run up walls, you can bounce enemies off of walls and juggle them. And just like in a fighting game, it feels great to juggle some enemies. But one of the annoyances of the game is when you are being juggled and you can't do anything about it. And there's another mechanic, which is this stun mechanic. When an enemy is stunned, uh, you better taunt him, because when you taunt the enemy, you will prolong the enemy's stun period, and with that, you can do with him whatever you want. So, one of the core mechanics that you better learn from the beginning, uh, lest you go through a lot of pain in the game, is when you stun an enemy, for example, when you bounce him off a wall, the enemy gonna get stunned, and you taunt him. By doing that, you have even more time for more combos, and this is just a core mechanic of the game. And the game is, of course, almost like a fighting game. So what you can do to the enemies can do to you. So you will also be stunned, and if the enemy taunts you, you'll be stunned for longer, and that will only increase your pain. Well, that's just something that happens in the game, and you must be aware of it. Of course, I've decided to make this video because I want to gush over this game, which I really like, and it deserves more love, and I want more people to play it. But of course, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's not without its annoyances and pet peeves. Let's talk about difficulty. Well, sometimes the difficulty feels a bit cheap because, I don't know, it feels like there is an input reading by the enemies. Because when you're on the floor and you try to perform a special attack to get up attacking your enemies, they will just step away from you and you will waste your attack. And it feels like they only step away when you press the button, because when I don't do anything, they get closer and they start pummeling me. So that can be a bit annoying. This game also features a bunch of weapons. You can pick up swords and bats and, pickaxe. Is there a pickaxe? I don't know, but you got the idea. You can grab these weapons and just start striking your enemies. Your enemies can do the same. However, one thing that is a little bit annoying is that if you get hit by any attack, it doesn't matter, apparently it doesn't matter what attack it is, you will drop your weapon. But you can totally demolish an enemy and they probably will not stop holding that weapon, and I find that a little bit unfair. And these weapons deal a lot of damage, so they can be rather annoying in harder difficulties and further down in the story mode. But they're fun. It's another fun option. So in this beat 'em up game, you've got your weapons. Sorry, you've got your melee attacks and your weapons. So you just gotta be mindful about that. They can be annoying sometimes. But of course, you can disarm your enemies. You can also be disarmed. You can throw those weapons and keep on attacking them and building your combos. And yet another great feature of this game is that you have your multiplayer component. In the story mode, after a certain point in the story, you will unlock the ability to take a partner with you to battles. And I'm not sure, maybe you can play with a partner, a second player. You can play these missions if you can find somebody to do some couch co-op with you. And also you have the multiplayer mode. You can fight one-on-one, you can fight a team battle, or a 3-player battle royale, or a 4-player battle royale. So I think this would be a great party material for a multi-tap session on the PlayStation 2. But of course, nowadays you can emulate it, and well, you can find a way to play with people, I think. So that's something to look into. Or if you have an OG PlayStation 2 and you play it with the multi-tap, well, you're gonna be the coolest guy in the neighborhood. But yeah, the multiplayer is really fun. You can unlock players. You can unlock characters from the story mode to play there, and since this game was built using a lot of Tekken animations, it will feel like a Tekken game. And if you love Tekken, you will most definitely love this game as well. Another great thing about the multiplayer action, be it with another player or just your CPU partner, is that you can pull off some awesome, some sick looking moves together with your partner, and the animations are just so great. It's so impactful and flashy. It's one of the joys of playing with another partner, and it's something that happens in the story. I think beginning in chapter 2, you can bring up a partner with you to many of the missions and just unleash some chaos and havoc to your enemies, and it's just so fun and so awesome to look at. Still on the subject of multiplayer, as you progress in the story, you can unlock other characters to use in the multiplayer modes. There are several. Some of them you can only play with another player, so that's why I haven't tried them. But there is a destruction mode and another one whose name I can't recall right now, but must be fun. And you unlock a challenge mode, which is basically that you will fight a string of 10 characters or up to 50, and there will be a final battle against a character. And in these modes, you will be able to unlock the guest characters from Tekken, Martial Law, and Paul Phoenix. Another thing you unlock after you beat the game is the free mode, which is basically you can go back to the missions of the story mode, but with any of the characters you have unlocked, and you can play to get a higher score, and it's quite fun. Now let me talk about the story. It's a it's a nice setup. It's very conducive to this type of game. It's about brawling and martial arts and gangs. So you play as the protagonist, Brad Hawk, a certified bad motherfucker, like I said before. And he's been hired to go to a city called Green Harbor. The mayor of the city is trying to fight the rampant violence and gang action in the city. And on another side of the story, you were hired by a Chinese girl to help deal with the gangs there. So you start fighting some um, smaller gangs, some martial artists, and when you clear that, another gang comes in, wreaking havoc in the whole city, and then you fight a bigger gang, more like a crime syndicate, until you fight the final boss. So basically, it was the mayor who hired a few gang members to kidnap one another so that there is a gang war, and then he swoops in with his security enforcers to clear all of that, and the mayor would grant power to one of these huge crime bosses of this crime syndicate and become the governor. So it was a huge political move at the end. And there's also a little story about the Chinese girl fighting her brother who killed their father. So that's basically the setup. It's a huge gang war in the city, and you're gonna kick ass. In this game, it's all about kicking ass. If you want to have fun with this game, you will have lots of fun. It's, like I said, gameplay first. It's a great game for you to revisit or play for the first time if you enjoy the beat 'em up genre. And that's it. I highly recommend. And if you like Tekken, you will feel right at home. And this is it for this video. I usually write a script for my videos, but for this one I decided to go with something different. I'm speaking off the cuff based on a few topics. And yeah, that's it. From gamer to gamer, that's it. This is Urban Rain. Great game, and I highly recommend. And that's all about it for this video.